Welcome back to Quick Business English, where international leaders build the English skills they actually need to lead. I'm your host, Andrea. Thanks for joining me again. Today, we are tackling a very common and important interview question for leadership roles. How would you describe your leadership style? At first glance, this might seem like a straightforward question, but it's actually a golden opportunity to show self-awareness and communicate how your unique approach fits the role and the team you'll be leading. So, how do you craft a clear and convincing answer that stands out? Let's start with the basics. Your leadership style is essentially the way you motivate, manage, and guide your team. There is no single right style. Leadership can be hands-on or hands-off, directive or collaborative, coaching or visionary. The key is to be authentic. Interviewers can sense when you are giving a generic answer versus something that really reflects who you are. Before your interview, spend some time reflecting on the following questions. How do you like to work with your team? What strengths do you bring as a leader? How do you handle challenges or motivate people? What feedback have you received from others about your leadership? Once you have a clear idea, try to summarize your style in 2 or 3 descriptive words. For example, you might say collaborative and supportive, or strategic and empowering, or decisive and results-oriented. Next, always support your description with examples. For instance, you could say, I would describe my leadership style as collaborative and supportive. I believe that when team members feel involved and motivated, we achieve the best results. In my last role, I made it a priority to hold regular team meetings and one-on-one check-ins to encourage open communication. This helped us identify potential issues early and celebrate successes, which boosted morale and productivity. This does 2 things. It tells the interviewer how you lead, and it shows practical actions that prove your approach works. Another important tip is to tailor your answers to the company culture and the role's expectations. If you know the company values innovation, you might want to emphasize how you encourage creativity and risk-taking within your team. If the job involves managing remote teams, mention how you adapt your leadership style to keep people connected and engaged, even from a distance. Be specific rather than vague. Instead of saying, I'm a good leader, focus on what that actually means in practice. How you build trust, how you set goals, and how you resolve conflicts. Also, avoid buzzwords without explanation. Saying, I'm a transformational leader or I'm very hands-on sounds impressive, but only if you clarify what that looks like in real work situations. So practice delivering your answer out loud before the interview. You want to sound confident but natural, not rehearsed or robotic. You could even record yourself or practice with a friend to get feedback. And finally, don't be afraid to mention areas you are working on or how your leadership style has evolved. This shows humility and a growth mindset which many interviewers appreciate. For example, I've learned that while I tend to be very detail-oriented, I'm working on stepping back and trusting my team more to take ownership. I'm finding this balance helps us move faster and build stronger team dynamics. That kind of honest reflection makes your answer memorable and authentic. So, let's recap. Number 1, know your leadership style and describe it with a few keywords. Number 2, back it up with concrete examples. Number 3, tailor it to the company and role. Number 4, avoid vague buzzwords and explain what you mean. Number 5, practice delivering it naturally. And finally, number 6, show openness to growth and learning. And that's all for today's episode on describing your leadership style clearly and convincingly. Next time, we'll dive into how to handle tricky questions about managing conflicts within your team, a must-know skill for any leader. If today's episode hit home, follow the podcast and check out the show notes for program links and more resources. If you found today's episode helpful, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for listening to Quick Business English. I look forward to catching up with you again soon.